right, hello there. You're welcome to the Dave Williams Show, and I have a very amazing, wonderful man of God in the house to take us through the discussions today. Pastor Collins, God bless you so much for being a part of this show.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here.
Absolutely.
I believe that our viewers will be blessed today.
Absolutely. Today, I want us to look into the topic: is love enough to have a successful relationship? Is love enough to have a successful relationship? I have met people, even pastors, preaching at marriage ceremonies, and they go like, love is not all you need to have a successful relationship. So I asked myself, really, I thought that God is love. So if love is not all you need, what else do you need? Is love truly enough to have a successful relationship?
Thank you, and that's a beautiful question. But before we take off, I want us to know something. If somebody wants to destroy you, he only have to define you wrongly. If I want to destroy marriage, once I define marriage as a union between two people, I've destroyed marriage.
Okay.
So once I truncate or I temper with the definition, I'm going to have a problem with the main thing. So if you want to say, is love enough or not, the question we should be asking here is, what is love?
God is love. Exactly.
If you don't interpret it well, or we don't understand what love is, we are automatically going to destroy it.
Right.
Look at the trend of our generation. We don't know what is love.
Okay.
So we're calling everything love.
We don't know what love is. We call everything love. Okay.
So people even assume that love is a feeling, love is this and love is that. And once you define it wrongly, you're going to have it wrongly.
I get that. So wow.
If I want to define what love is, I go back to what Paul attempted to describe love to be.
Okay.
By understanding in the spiritual realm. He says that in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4-7, he said, love is kind. Love is this. Love is endurance.
Love is patient.
Love is patient. Love is this.
Love is forgiving.
So, when I look at the definition of love, you could say that love is sustained by character.
Love is sustained by character.
And love is character.
Okay.
So if you take away these characteristics of love, then what you have is not love.
I see. That's deep.
So if we assume that, or we understand love to be a feeling or a chemistry between two people, then there's a problem.
Right. I always say that love is not a chemical reaction.
Nah.
Because chemical reactions don't last.
That's right.
Within a short period of time, they are gone. So if you are, as it were, defining love as a feeling, that is why once the feeling is gone, there's a problem. We say love is a scam.
That's why most people relationships don't last. Most marriages don't last.
Right.
Because they depended on the euphoria, excitement, and the feeling, and neglecting the real definition of love. So if love is not pride, love is not boastful, love does not rejoice in evil, love does not do evil, if that's the real definition of love, then we have to think twice to stop assuming that if I meet a lady and she's this and that, something is doing me. It means I'm in love.
Something is doing me. I like that. There's this guy that is always something is doing me, and so their definition of love, something must do them to feel that this is true love. But the doing, like we are saying, the inferior dies off within. I think I read a book by Gary Chapman, and he was saying, I think, the 5 love languages, and he was talking about the fact that love is not an excitement. Excitement, the period dies maximum 2 years. So after the 2 years, then reality begins to dawn on you. You realize that, okay, what you thought was love was never love. So truly, like you said, love is a character. I think the book of 1 John 4, verse 7 and 8, the Bible says, beloved, let us love one another. For love is of God, and everyone that loves is born of God and knows God. He that does not love does not know God, because God is love. I also think that love is actually a person, and that person is the Christ we have to find. Without it, as a matter of fact, I believe that the agape love, which is the God kind of love, is the offshoot of all the other things that enumerated in the book of 1 Corinthians 13.
All right. I'm trying to put a book together.
Okay.
And the title is Foundation for a Happy Relationship or Marriage.
Okay. Right.
And if you look at the foundation, the pillars that holds relationship, the 4th pillar in the order of importance, love.
The 4th pillar.
Yes, is love. So love is not even the first. It's not a second, it's not a third.
Okay, so that takes me back to what we wanted to discuss.
Good.
'Cause I was saying that is love enough for a successful relationship? So if love happens to be the fourth, that means that there are things. Does that suggest that truly love is not enough for a successful relationship?
It's not enough.
Okay.
If you look at the build, love is like a building.
Okay.
If you look at the interior and exterior decoration of the building, you will say the building is nice, but something went to the building. There's a foundation, there's a building of block work, there's lintel, there's roofing before the painting.
Right.
So if you don't understand this, then you will look at the building and say the building is nice because of the color of the paint or the texture of the paint.
That's true.
So love is important, but there are things which are more important than love. The Bible didn't recommend us in scripture that we should marry the person you love. It said love your husband, love your wife. It didn't say love them before you marry. So love is not even an ingredient to getting married.
So if the Bible says God is love, and we're talking about people's misinterpretation or misunderstanding of love earlier, where the feeling, the excitement, the euphoria, maybe the beauty of somebody, the six packs of a guy, all those things are the things that they get carried away with, and they say it is love. And we know also in the scriptures that the very person of Christ is the true definition of love. So if we are saying that love is not enough, are we saying that Christ is not enough to have a successful marriage? From the points we are making, that love is not enough, that there are other pillars or other things before love comes. Can you help me understand it?
Okay. The God kind of love is called the agape love.
Right.
Every marriage runs on three kinds of love.
Okay.
The agape love, and we have the
Eros. The Eros love.
Yeah. So, and the Eros love is just about 10%.
Right.
So the Christ love is the agape love, which is the 90% that marriage comprises of.
Okay.
And that 90%, if you define that love, it goes back to character.
Absolutely.
So without the character, the Eros, the feeling, the romantic feeling for the person, it would die.
Exactly.
Because 10 out of 90 is a failure.
Exactly.
So if you base your relationship on 10 and leaving the 90, you will pass 10% and fail 90%.
So that's my point when I'm saying that. So the Eros is like the offshoot of the agape. So without the agape, Eros is non-existent.
That's right.
It's almost
the Eros will die off.
Eros will die off.
That's right.
Exactly. But I want to get what you said, that love is not enough. But you mentioned some pointers. So I wanted to be sure what those things are.
So if we're going into a relationship,
right,
the essence of relationship, the essence of marriage is for you to be better and to be happy.
The essence of a marriage is for you to be better and happy.
That's right. Okay. If it doesn't make you happy, doesn't make you better, you are failed.
Okay.
So if that's what you are going in for, if you understand it this way, then you don't look for 6 packs and 7 packs.
That's right.
You look for somebody who is matured and powerful enough to make you better.
Okay.
And not make you bitter.
Fantastic.
And that's where most of the young men have gotten it wrong, because we don't understand that the highest you can achieve in marriage is to be happy. So I go about looking for breasts, and I don't prioritize happiness over breasts. So I marry breasts and I'm not happy.
You marry breast
and I'm not happy. You marry big buttocks, you're not happy. Because you prioritize these things above it. So let's go back to our topic.
Okay.
So our topic is saying that if we have to have a happy marriage or relationship, then it boils down to the pillars we think are very important.
Okay.
And the first pillar is character.
The first pillar is character.
No matter how much I feel for a lady, or lady feels to have me in love, there are character traits that can betray the love or that can truncate the love. When I was coming, I have a question for our listeners, our viewers.
Okay.
Where's your ex?
Where's your ex? Okay.
That's the question.
Right.
And if we get to know our first love was the most powerful, the thickest, and the deepest love, where are they now? So if love is enough, we have kept them till now.
Okay.
But because some of them had character problems that we couldn't bear.
So doesn't that also suggest that, like, again, that the love that they thought was love was not love, but it was just a feeling? Because like you said, if the love was enough, they would have been together.
Okay. Even if the love is enough, no matter how thick your love is, no matter how you feel for each person, what sustains love is character.
What sustains love
is character.
Is character.
That's why I said that marriage is like a building. The painting is the love. So what sustains the building itself is the foundation.
So now, are we talking about the love as they see it out there, or we are talking about the love as we know in Christ?
So let's assume we are taking it from their love.
Okay, we are taking
Even
from their love.
feel for you, like I'm going crazy, I'm going mad seeing you.
Right.
If I don't have character, that love will be betrayed.
Okay.
If we take it from the Christian perspective, from the Paul's perspective, then love is equal to character.
Right, exactly.
So from either side, we are coming back to the first pillar, that
Which
is
is
the
the character.
building must be built, it must be built on foundation.
Okay. Of course, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do?
You see what the Bible says? What can they do? It means they can do anything. It will amount to nothing.
Okay.
Passing through Labadi Hotel, there's a 11-story building which has been erected.
Right.
And for the past 5 years, they've asked them to stop. Why? Because the foundation is not strong enough to carry that kind of building.
That's true.
So no matter how much you have invested, if the foundation is not right, if character is not sustainable, love vanishes. That's why I asked her, where is your ex?
Okay, where's your ex?
Him, you loved her. Where is she?
Where is she?
Character problem. Somebody was lying. Somebody was cheating. Somebody was beating the spouse. Somebody was doing this. So the love is truncated. So if I'm advising you before marriage, I will tell you, go for character first as first foundation. So that's why I'm telling you that love is the fourth pillar. It's not enough.
Of course, from what you say, we are talking about the love out there, not the love of Christ. Because, like you said, true love, that is a God kind of love, is a character.
That's right.
And we read it in the book of, or you mentioned them in the book of 1 Corinthians 13. So the characteristics that were mentioned of true love, you must have those characters before you get ready for true love.
Exactly.
Or for a marriage or relationship.
That's right. And then the problem here is that we don't build our character, but we go looking for Bluetooth pairing.
We don't. I love that. We don't build our character.
Which is a real love. We don't build it. And we go for the inferior. I look at this and say, wow, I like the way she is. I wish she's my girlfriend. Now, you don't have a sound character to sustain the
That's
feeling.
right.
So if you walk, then a lot of people, young ladies on social media who are looking for love, even on TV shows, looking for love, who don't have sound character. So
they don't sound character.
So you know, in the space of 6 months, you come back to square one.
Exactly.
Because what sustains love is character.
Right.
So love alone cannot, it can take you to marriage, it will bring you back to your father's house.
So it is important for us because there are people who are watching us who also believe that love is all you need to have a successful relationship. So it is important for us to establish that the love we are talking about here is not a God kind of love. So what you see out there and you say it is love, as a matter of fact, it's not love. That's why after some time it dies off. And so you get people, I have counseled people before. Of course, I'm a counselor myself like you do. I have counseled people before who go like, oh, love is a scam. I am not interested. I don't want to date again. Some people will say, oh, me, I want to be a Roman father. I want to be a sister because of the experiences they've had with the so-called love. And I think that just like you are saying, the love that is supposed to be the character must be developed to be able to actually get the rest of the things. What are the other things?
Okay, so now you agree that character it plays a major role?
Plays major role. Right. So long as it is established that the character you're talking about is also an offshoot of the love of God, it makes sense.
So let me take you back to the question you just asked.
Okay.
Some people say love is scam. I agree with them. Because if you date a scammer who doesn't have character, a scammer is someone who doesn't have integrity and character.
That's right.
And from 1 Corinthians, that was defining love. It says true love does not rejoice in evil. So when the person is committing evil and yet you are feeling for the person, then you can see that there's a problem.
So your feeling is, like we are saying, your feeling started on the wrong premises. That was not love. So if you date a scammer or if you love a scammer, you will see love as a scam.
Yes, right.
If you love
a cheat.
You see love as a cheat.
You end up saying all men are cheat. Opinions, I agree with them because they didn't work to understand that love is not a feeling, it's a character.
That's right. Love is not a feeling, it's a character.
Watch the marriages in the 18th century. They can bring a woman to you from the village and say, okay, I'm your dad. I saw that this woman is hardworking. If you marry her, you'll be cool. I don't know her. I don't have chemistry. They get married and our grandparents stayed married for 30 years, 80 years, 70 years.
We don't have the chemical reaction.
No,
we don't have the chemistry.
See, true love is character.
That's true.
I don't care what I feel for you. If I don't find this character in you, I don't love you.
Okay.
If the young ones should get it this way, they will go for character than feeling.
Right.
Because a man can have 6 packs, can have the money with a bad in a demonic character. Is that love?
That
you see a man who is cheating and yet he says he loves you.
That is not love.
And I have young ladies who are in my DM who are dating cheating men or your friend. And they say, I love him, I can't break up with him. The truth is that you are loving feeling, not the person.
Thank you. Because loving feeling
is a personality and it's a character.
True love is a personality and it's a character. Yeah, so what are the other things?
Another important thing aside the character is that even no matter how good our character is, if we have good characters, like 75%, 90%, as long as two people are going to work together, there's something we call maturity.
Maturity.
Why is maturity important? Because if I love you and I'm not matured, it will still not work.
Okay.
There are two scriptures I'll draw your mind to.
Okay.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, 27, and Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. In chapter 1, verse 27, the Bible says God created humanity in his own image.
That is likeness.
And he created them male and what?
And female. Yeah.
In chapter 2, so chapter 1 is composition of man, how God created man.
Right.
In chapter 2, verse 24, it said, therefore, a man will leave the father's house and be joined by the woman. Why didn't God say, I made you male and female? So when you're going to get married, the male should get up and marry. He said, no, the male should grow to become a man. Because, see, living together with somebody is a problem. I have twins behind me, and they still have disagreement. They still have their quarrel. They were raised up in the same womb, the same parent, the same environment, the same culture, and yet they still have disagreement. So it means
how much more people that were raised in different background,
Tamale, and you were raised in Jamestown, you're going to have crisis.
Absolutely.
Communication problems, issues are going to crop up.
Yeah.
And in every marriage, there are problems. Our maturity determines whether the love is true or not.
Okay.
So the requirement for marriage from scripture says a man should be matured.
Okay.
In Ecclesiastes chapter 10, it says, woe unto a nation whose king is a child. So it means God does not recommend kingship. There are weightier matters God will not recommend for people to. That's marriage and love.
Right.
If an immature person handles love, he or she will bleed.
That's true.
So no matter how much we feel for ourselves, if there is no maturity, it will fail.
Okay.
So I'll prefer you go for maturity before you think of love.
Okay. So there are people who, it's clear, it's obvious that there are people who just rush into relationships because of excitement. And they don't spend time growing themselves to maturity before they enter into a relationship.
This morning, a young man spoke to me. He said, he was talking about his girlfriend. He's asking me, does the girlfriend love him? I said, how will I know?
Wait, he is asking you
that
his girlfriend loves him.
And I don't know. And I asked him, you are the one eating the food. Does she love you? And this is
I like that.
This is what the man said. He said, the last time I was trying to break up with her, she broke her phone and she was crying. So it means she loves me.
She broke her phone and was crying.
So it means,
but that, for me, is a demonstration of immaturity in the first place. So for me, that's a red light.
That's the beginning of drama.
Exactly.
You are going to see.
Yeah.
You can see immature person who doesn't know what love is going to love. So no matter what we feel for ourselves, in the absence of maturity, it will not work. And there are 5 areas everybody must develop in maturity before we get married.
Okay. Can you give us those 5 areas?
God knows that marriage is an institution where we crack bones.
Right.
And children who don't have teeth are not qualified to crack bones.
Strong meat, of course, is not for babes.
It's for mature people.
Right.
So this love thing can take you to psychiatric hospital. Not because love is wicked.
Or because?
Not because love is wicked.
Not because love is wicked. But because we are not matured. Right. Right. That's very true. So maturity is key to have a successful relationship. So we spoke about character being key, and we spoke about maturity being key.
The people who got divorced, they didn't have love. They didn't have a problem with love. They had a problem with maturity.
Okay.
So if I'm going now between maturity and love, I'll go for maturity.
Okay.
A woman who is matured can handle, no matter the pressure we go through in marriage, they'll handle it.
But it is still important. You know, I'm very particular about this. That this thing we are talking about here, just like you mentioned, just to clarify, that if you put love and maturity down, you will go for maturity.
Yes.
It is important to establish, I don't know if that's what you mean, it is important to establish that the maturity you are talking about, and the love in this case, is not talking about the God kind of love, because there's no maturity that is beyond the God kind of love.
Exactly.
So it is the love
we are taking it from their angles.
The angle, yeah, sure, right. So the love that they demonstrate out there, fantastic.
We have to show maturity, capability to handle issues.
Right.
Because there comes a time you will call your girlfriend, she will not pick the call. 4 times. If you're not, there comes a time you will go to work when you and a lady are having misunderstanding. Even in marriage, there are times 3 days you're not talking. If it shows on your face at work, then there's something wrong with you. That's where maturity. Even with the men of God, we go through issues in our marriage,
sure.
but you can't see it on my Facebook.
Yeah,
you can't see it on my status. I handle it maturely.
That's right.
So every marriage you go through, the Bible just said in the statement, it said the wise who build on the rock and the one who build on the sand, both will experience storm. So whether you are archbishop, whether you are central bishop, whether you are a church member or you don't go to church, that's not a problem. The storm will hit at every marriage.
That's right.
It's maturity that will make the marriage strong. So if you don't have it, love it will be in vain.
That's right. That's right. Wow, this is beautiful. Character. I'm loving this.
5 areas of maturity.
Yes.
I think one of the series will take a whole session on maturity.
I know, right?
People will understand that you must be mature. The first area is intellectual maturity.
Intellectual maturity.
You're ready. If you spend 4 years in medical, in studying nursing, who told you that you can just walk into marriage?
Get up and say you want to marry.
You just walk into marriage. No, you spend 7 years in pharmacy, oncology, to become a pharmacist. So what makes you think you can just walk into marriage and just... So there's a church I know, you read 16 books on marriage before they allow you to marry.
16 books?
It opens your mind. Opens your mind.
I see. Okay.
You've never read anything on communication, so how are you going to communicate? You've never read anything on sex, so if you marry, how are you going to do it?
Okay.
The second one is spiritual maturity.
Spiritual maturity.
Because some of the battles we go through in relationship, they are not physical.
That's true.
You can date a lady and die.
That's true.
Because of the deity and the demonic things.
Exactly. So I know a guy who was doing very well and started dating a girl and started going down because the altars from the girl's family will not allow any lady in that family. And they are very beautiful girls. But it's like this altar does not allow the ladies to get married in the family. Exactly. And this girl was pushing. And so the altars came after the guy so hard. Yeah. And but they still got married anyway, but it took grace. Those things were broken before the guy became, the marriage happened.
And being a pastor for a while, I've seen deliverance happening in church before. And I see even witches confessing in church. So it makes it more scary to just go by eye. That's why 1 Samuel 16 says that. It says, man, look at the outward appearance. It's very important. But you must go beyond if you are godly.
That's right.
And if your love is godly kind of love, you should go beyond the physical appearance and go into the spiritual. Look at the heart of the people. If they're not spiritually matured, you can marry a witch. And many pastors have married.
You can marry a witch.
Yeah, you can, easily.
I heard of a pastor who was doing well, married a lady because the lady can sing. I think the lady is a witch. Because this pastor was doing well, had about 2,000 congregation. When he married this lady, the lady started fighting everybody. As I speak to you, I hear the pastor is not able to sit even 50 people in the church, from over 2,000 congregation to less than 50 people.
So if I ask you, maturity,
very, very key.
And love, you will now understand that
in this case, so long as the love is from the one out there, I'll choose maturity any day, because I believe that just like character, maturity is also an offshoot of true love.
That's right.
You can never commit to a relationship with somebody if you don't truly love the person. Exactly. And it's not just about love. You have to be matured enough to know that this relationship I'm entering into is with another person. That is an identity of Christ. So you should be able to treat the person just the way God or Christ himself will treat the person. So you go in prepared and ready to love on the person just like Christ will love the person. And so with maturity is very key and very important, just like character, to be able to love and love truly well.
Exactly.
So it's beautiful. So you spoke about character, you spoke about maturity. What else will you speak about?
Yeah, I told you that love is the fourth foundation. Yeah. So the third
I want us to get to the fourth one.
We will get there.
And then we'll probably wrap up.
We'll get there. So the third one talks about compatibility.
Compatibility.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always ask a question like this. A bird can easily fall in love with a fish. It's easy. When the bird flies up, he looks down to the sea. He sees the way the tilapia is swimming. He can easily fall in love. But keeps the fish in the water swimming can look up and look at it, the swinging of the eagle. Like, wow, this is amazing. They can easily fall in love. But can they make a home? They can't build a home because they can't build compatible. One is supposed to be in the air, one is supposed to be in the water.
That's right.
So no matter what I feel for you, no matter how much I love you, if we are not compatible, there's going to be a problem. The love will be truncated.
That's right.
If you are going to Kumasi and I'm going to Flower, can we be in the same car?
No.
So Amos says that can two work together except they
agree?
So without agreement, we can't. Can you imagine? And somebody wants to be a native doctor, British priest. That's fine profession. And a lady wants to be a pastor. Can you imagine if they fall in love?
It's not possible.
They will kill themselves. The warfare is amazing. And so this is what we must so look at. Aside the love and the chemistry we feel, we should be asking ourselves, are we compatible? See, the essence of marriage, if you want to enjoy marriage, is in chapter 2 of Genesis verse 24, and the two shall become one.
That's right.
So until we become one, we'll keep fighting.
They must have one vision.
That's right.
If you have different visions, that's why it's called divisions. So you must have one.
God. And so vision. Aside the vision, one thought, one mind, one understanding. Once we get to that realm, your marriage is blessed. But until we get there, there's going to be total discrepancies. And these discrepancies is going to cause heartbreak. Pains even in the midst of, let's assume, that feeling love. Because some people are feeling so much that they don't care about anything else again. But we are advising them that when we enter into relationship and marriage, you will notice that these discrepancies. A lady told me, I'm dating a guy. I said, what kind of guy are you dating? He said she has a call of God on her life that one day she'll be a preacher. I said, that's beautiful. Okay. That's what guy are you dating? He said, the guy I'm dating, he doesn't go to church. I said, that's fine.
He doesn't go to church.
And he speaks against pastors, and we can't pay. He doesn't believe in tithe.
He speaks against pastors.
Yes. We're in a free world. Everybody's supposed to do what we are going to do. But if you are called as a preacher, how then do you preach a congregation when your husband doesn't believe in what you preach?
Yeah.
A lady told me, he said, I nearly lost my marriage because I put the rosary, Catholic rosary, on my children's neck. My husband hates it, doesn't believe in it.
Wow.
So now this thing is creating problems in marriage because we don't believe it. We are not one. The ideology must be one. We must try to become one. When you marry, after 10 years, you will look like your spouse. You will think like it. If it's not there, then there's a problem. Then every day we keep fighting. So I'm saying that love is very important because the next key that we need to get married. But before we get carried over by the excitement of the feeling and the euphoria of the love, we must think that there are important matters which are weightier than the chemistry.
Okay. Weightier than chemistry.
Yeah.
Important matters that are weightier than chemistry. Okay. So that's the third one.
Yes, please.
Before the love.
Let me come to
now speak about the love we are talking about, which is the fourth one.
I love what God told Samuel. He said, man look at the outward appearance.
That's right.
So it means that for man, we must look at it.
That's right.
You can't tell, I am not God. I don't have telescopic eye to look and say, you have inner beauty. So we have to look at the 6 packs, look at this and look at that. And it's very important because if a woman is not attractive to you, you can't marry the person.
That's true.
Yes, it's important. Yeah. But nevertheless, you should also remember that in the quest for attraction, now the system has become fake.
That's true.
That the women have noticed that men are moved by what they see. So now there's too much fake in the system.
Yes.
Now the men are knowing that women are moved by what they hear. So most men are into lying.
Right.
That's why we go back to the maturity to show you that spiritually you must be matured.
That's right.
So that you can go beyond the physical attraction. The physical attraction is very important. Love at first sight is very good. It's very nice. It attracts to the person. Very important. You need it in marriage because 10% of the love we're talking about is the eros.
Okay.
Just to do with the chemistry and the feeling. That to be able to make us go intimate. You getting it? But the other 90% is the agape love, which goes back to the character.
That's right.
You getting it? So the love is very important. We need it. When we go on the TV programs, we are looking for love. Yes, it's very important. We need love. But when we are looking for love, we should remember that there are 3 key foundations before love comes.
That's right. Which is character, maturity, and what again? I forget the term.
Character, maturity, and then the compatibility.
And the compatibility before love. And love in this case is the feelings we are talking about. So, okay, so that is to say all the things we see in society, all the love life we talk about in society is centered around eros. So that's the feelings, the excitement, the 6 packs, the boobs, the butts, all of that is centered around eros.
That is very dangerous.
That is very dangerous. And that is why, so back to the topic. Is love enough for a successful relationship? Is love enough to have it? So what it means is that if it is going to be centered on eros, then definitely it is not enough at all.
It's not.
But if it is about the true love of God, which we spoke about in 1 Corinthians 13, then that is enough. I believe it's enough because everything that we mentioned, the character, maturity, even vision, compatibility, I believe they are all offshoots of true love.
That's right.
Just like we said, even the eros, which is the fourth one, which is the love that is displayed all around, is even an offshoot. Like you said, 10% of the true love of God. It means that if you have the love of God, if you have the agape love, you'll be able to forgive. Like you said in the book of First Corinthians 13. If you have the agape love, you'll be patient, you'll be tolerant, you accommodate. You just like Christ was, that he demonstrated all of that for us. Somebody will say that I will choose commitment above love. And I'm saying, how can you choose commitment above love? Then it must be the eros love you're talking about, because there's no way you choose commitment. There's no commitment without agape love.
That's right.
You have to love somebody to be committed to the person. You even have to love somebody to become responsible over the person. Do you understand? If you don't love your kids, you don't care whether they pay school fees or not. But if you love your kids, if you love your wife, you will become committed to be responsible to make sure that their needs are met as the husband.
Exactly.
And so the idea or the perception or the misconception that love is not all you need to have a successful marriage is erroneous, especially if it is centered on the eros love, on the excitement, on the emotions, on the chemical reactions you feel if you see the person. This girl is sweet. This girl is beautiful. Look at the guy. Look at the body. It's full fed. All those things are centered around eros love. And if that's what we are talking about, if that's what we really are talking about, then it's not enough to have a successful relationship.
Like, I love the key word, building a successful relationship. If you are just building a relationship, then love is enough.
Exactly.
Because you don't have, your objective is just building a relationship. Whether it works or doesn't work, you're building it. But for here, we're looking at building a
successful relationship.
So we need to consider these key pillars. Another one is a agreement and endorsement. No matter how much when I was going to get married, I was a spiritual person, so I didn't have much knowledge on the physical stuff. So the counselor says that we have to go for medical health compatibility test.
Yeah.
I was like, which one is that? I love my wife. We want to get married.
Exactly. That's it.
I had faith. I was like, whatever. When she was checked, she was AS.
Okay.
50% sickle cell.
Yeah.
And the doctor made a comment I didn't like. He says, if you go and your husband is AS, you can't marry.
Okay.
I said, I love her. It's a medical field. It's not love.
That's right.
You don't go for AA, you give up to sickle cell children. And it will destroy. That thing you say you love, I bet you it will vanish very high.
That's true.
So I went for a test and it was AA. Congratulations. We had to get married.
Wow.
I had a young man call me from Nungwa and say, man of God, I had a little problem. I said, what is it? He said, I'm getting married, but my girlfriend has a small challenge. I said, what is it? He said, she's HIV positive. Oh. And for me, we are not discriminating, but health-wise, it's not compatible.
Exactly.
It's going to have a problem. So there are things we must agree on. The health must agree. It doesn't agree, no matter what you feel, no matter what you claim, it will end in tears.
It will end in tears.
Number two, parental agreement. If you bring a woman and they say that I don't like a young woman, it's Bible says honor your parents.
Exactly.
So in honoring them, if you said no, they will not be part of this. Okay. And how would they? There's no white wedding without traditional wedding. That's the important one.
That's true.
So if the parent says no, you either pray for God to touch them, because the Bible says the heart of a king is in the hands of the Lord. If God doesn't turn it, the God who gave you the love doesn't turn it, then whatever you feel will be in vain. And there are a lot of people who listen to us who have lost relationship because their parents didn't agree with them.
That's true.
You get it. Then do we have a pastoral or shepherd agreement? You can bring a lady to you and pastor says, I don't know. You can't do anything about it. I spoke to a lady over the weekend. She told me that our church, we don't allow the female or us to marry outside.
I think I experienced that myself, actually.
So the question here, if you meet a man who truly loves you and you feel the chemistry, the biography and the physics and the agricultural science, and now the person just doesn't agree, it will end there. It will end there. So you can see that it's limited. It's limited. It has to work on pillars.
A lot of pillars.
Yeah.
Before,
A lot of pillars. Because if you're SS and I'm SS, even if I accept we heard from God.
Exactly, yeah.
And even with that, the medicals will fight you. That's right.
Sure. That's
so
true.
The love must disappear.
Sure.
So love alone is not enough.
It's not enough.
It cannot be enough. Because there are things we will handle in relationship that goes beyond how I feel for you.
Very, 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 very exciting. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to have you on, Pastor Collins. It's very wonderful. This is just the beginning. I will be having you more and more and more, and we'll delve into different and serious and deeper topics so that people will be enlightened, lives will be transformed, relationships will become better, and then people will become the better halves for their partners and all of that. God bless you so much for passing through. We can't wait to have you again on our next episode. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much too for inviting.
Oh, wow.
It's a great and nice discussion. I pray that the young ones will take their time, get their pens and paper, document these things down, so that they don't carry the way by what they see.
Absolutely.
They don't carry the way by what they feel. They will open their eyes. That's what the Bible said, that watch and pray.
Right.
So it means we have opened our eyes, and how else we are praying,
right,
so that we don't get deceived or we don't get it twisted. Otherwise, you get married. Most of us who got married, they're regretting because
that's true.
We dwell on the wrong definition of what love is. Yeah,
that's true. Thank you so much, and it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for staying with us, and we hope you enjoyed this session. I have been blessed, and I know that you've been blessed as well. So if you like this content, please share with a friend, like, comment, and do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Divine Williams TV, and continue to be part of this show, because moving forward, there are some goodies coming your way because you are part of this family. God bless you so much. We'll see you another time. Blessings.